Hey guys, Rich with Rich Rebuilds here, and I'm just taking a quick break from the commute to my full-time job to bring you yet another video. Now, before I get into the main topic of discussion, I have two things for you today. Number one, an update to the EV repair shop I'm building called the Electrified Garage. In the last video, they were pouring concrete, and the anticipated completion date was December 35th of the year 3000. Well, that date has been moved up because they must have seen the last video, worked their asses off, and the new completion date November 33rd of 2071. Now, the second thing I wanted to mention is a personal friend of mine named Sam. Sam has a YouTube car rebuild channel he's trying to get off the ground, where he primarily focuses on, well, basically anything he can get his hands on. Now, last year, Sam took the challenge of rebuilding a Focus RS. He made a few videos on it, then he bought a few other cars and completely lost interest in the RS, leaving his viewers wondering where the Focus RS was, as Sam left the car rotting away in a field. So a few weeks ago, I roasted him for not finishing the car, and he shipped the Focus RS to another YouTuber, likely never to be seen again. Every time I bring up the car, Sam changes the subject. But the fans don't forget. A couple weeks ago, my friend George made and sent me my most prized possession. Yes, even more prized than the photo of Elon Musk and I that I carry around everywhere, he actually made a full replica of Sam and his unfinished Focus RS, complete with Sam's chickens, an unshaved Sam, and the wrecked front end of a Focus, complete with the giant zip tie he leaves on the steering column holding the keys, and on the inside a Rich Rebuilds air freshener. And as much as Sam tries to forget about the car, I sure won't. I will keep this forever as a reminder that Sam never finished his Focus RS. Godspeed, little Focus, and no, I'm not going to send Sam this work of art, because then he'd have two unfinished Focus RSs. So I have another interesting one for you all today regarding Tesla cars and their information. Now, one of my struggles that I've had with Tesla is that they don't really enjoy giving up information about their vehicles. Even though Elon Musk is releasing some patents because he wants other manufacturers to help his mission of sustainable transport, they still only kind of want you to have information, but not too much. Looking at the patents they release, I see things like a tool to open a battery pack and a patent for a movable seat with a single post, which is fine and dandy, but that's not what other auto manufacturers need help with. Other car companies know how to make a seat or make a tool that opens their own battery pack. What they need help with and where they fall behind is the code that runs the cars themselves. Tesla knows this, and they aren't releasing any of the code or chip designs anytime soon. But that's fair, and I understand. They're a relatively new auto manufacturer, and sharing private information about their cars could lead to putting valuable and sensitive proprietary information about the vehicles into competitors' hands. Another struggle is Tesla's reluctance to sharing information about the service history of the cars. What do I mean by that? Well, if I buy a used Tesla from, I don't know, anywhere, when you ask for the service history, they typically say no. That's right. You fork over all this money for a used Tesla, you call them up or even physically bring the car there and say, you want to find out when the last time this car was serviced or what was done? They say, don't worry about it. So one day I decided to ask Tesla, hey, these cars are pretty advanced. Is there any way that I could find out what happened in the crash of the vehicle itself? The car has tons and tons of information living on it, as well as cameras galore. I have to be able to figure out something, right? So I set off on a mission myself to find it. The Tesla Model S is a giant laptop on wheels, so how hard can it be? Well, in recent weeks, a lot of people are complaining about, oh my goodness, my privacy is being compromised, and a few recent news articles about how much data a Tesla is gathering about its users. My response? Yeah, no kidding. Most cars do this. Is this really news to anyone? Does anyone have any idea what your cell phone knows about you? Literally everything. If you're watching this video, Google knows where you are watching it from, how long you've been watching it for, as well as videos you've watched before so they can target you for ads. Tesla also knows everything. It uses the cameras to record video clips of street signs, various environments, human beings near the car, the speed of the car is logged, and so is every time you activate autopilot. If you use autopilot and enjoy using autopilot, that's the culmination of tens of thousands of other people that were willing to opt into the data capture program called fleet learning, which helps move forward the development of autonomous vehicles, and the more the cars learn about the real world driving, the better the cars get. Same thing with cell phones. You know how you can tell when there's traffic? Well, that's because people opt into the data capture program. They can see all the little cell phones emitting signals indicating that there's traffic, and there's a slowdown, allowing other cell phones to find new routes. We're all giving up some privacy for convenience. Funny story about privacy in computers, a company called WeVibe that makes vibrators settled a $4 million lawsuit after a customer found out the company's Bluetooth-enabled and app-controlled devices secretly collected highly personal and sensitive data down to the date and the time the device was used. Awkward. Your Roomba knows how big your house is and has a built-in mapping navigation system and has the ability to send that information to the cloud. Not only that, but just like your laptop, your smart television also has a microphone, and some even have cameras. When Samsung released its new smart televisions, it warned customers not to discuss sensitive information in front of it. The policy advised, please be aware that if your spoken words include personal or other sensitive information, that information will be among the data captured and transmitted to a third party through your use of voice recognition. If you don't want to be tracked, buy a tinfoil hat, live in a cave, pay cash for everything, wearing this mask, and don't have a cell phone or a Tesla. Now let's get into how we can actually retrieve data from the cars themselves. I'm going to show you the front-facing autopilot camera from a Tesla Model S. This is the camera module. It contains a Mobileye Q3 chip and handles most of the requirements for autopilot. This module works in unison with other modules as well, such as the Bosch iBooster braking system, a Bosch radar in front, sensors all around the car, including cameras in the pillars, as well as cameras in the side markers. But this one is certainly the most important. Without it, there is no autopilot. All of these sensors and GPS work together to constantly provide real-time feedback from the Tesla fleet. So let's see if we can take a deeper look on what information about the vehicle is available in plain sight. So this is a Tesla MCU. It stands for Main Computer Unit. Some call it the Media Control Unit, but this is the main brain of the car. It's a center display that's in all Tesla Model S's and X's. As you can see, the screen is cracked. I broke it a few minutes ago, but I managed to fix it pretty easily. I went back in time, simply spun around the Earth backwards at the speed of light to reverse the Earth's rotation like Superman did back in 1978. So here's the Tesla MCU all laid out. Let's take it apart and see what we find. Now on the left hand side, this button is for the hazard lights, and on the right hand side is the glove box open button. I'm pressing it. I'm not sure why, but it's not going to do anything considering it's out of the car. Flipping it over on the back, and you'll see the giant heatsink as well. It's cooling fans for the unit. Let's get this bezel off. Now we're going to remove the screws to remove the LCD screen. Okay, now the LCD screen is out, let's remove the heatsink. And if you look here, you can see it's for the premium audio amplifiers. Now that the heatsink and logic board is out, let's take some more things apart, shall we? Let's remove the board that houses the SIM card. And here it is. Here's what the SIM card itself looks like. It's just like any other SIM, but now we're going to remove the fan that cools the NVIDIA chip. After taking a few of these apart, I've been seeing that the fan wires tend to chafe the board itself, and this one is no different. Over time, this fan would have likely failed. Anyways, let's get to the good part. At the very back is this little carrier that holds a 4GB SD card. Let's get that out and take a look and see what's on it. After putting in the SD card, I'm seeing a series of plain text files including logs and commands. I'll cover what's in these folders in a different video, but let's go to the DAS folder. DAS. And if you look here, you'll see a bunch of .pgm files, which stands for Portable Gray Map. But it's basically a text-based image format for grayscale images. So let's click on that first PGM file to see what they have here. Ah, crap, whoa! It's an image from the autopilot camera. If we rotate it, it looks like at some point the car was driving on the highway, and here it is another photo behind the same Corolla a little bit further down the road. Alright, let's get more of these images together to see what else is on here. Maybe we can actually build a story of what the car sees. Here's a short clip of the car driving behind that same Corolla on the highway. Here's a clip of the car driving on the highway at night. The car pulling into a bodega. Another image of the car driving down the highway. A clip of the car pulling out of a toll booth. And this one is especially creepy because it turned on when someone was actually jogging in front of the car. So there's a series of images of a woman jogging. Here's the car driving down the road. More highway videos. And now the camera was tracking a boy riding his bicycle. Now I can't figure out the rhyme or reason for these photos as to why they were still on the MCU. They're seemingly random, but it's still interesting nonetheless. It's also a very interesting insight as to what data the car is capturing from what you do. For example, on the newer Autopilot 2 and up cars, pulling the data is more difficult, but at the same time the cameras are higher resolution. Like this example here of the owner running directly into a hill. The somewhat troubling part that you don't know when the cars are actually recording or what data they're sending to Tesla. The even more troubling part is that auto manufacturers are thinking of having cameras that point inside the car to monitor driver fatigue. So imagine someone being able to pull videos like I just did, but it's actually what the driver was doing before the crash. Talk about incriminating. So quick word to the wise, if you're in a Tesla and you get into an accident and you don't die, or if you're simply selling the car, don't forget to go to Settings, Service and Reset, Factory Reset, Erase and Reset. But before erasing, the Model S verifies your credentials by prompting you to enter your name and password for your My Tesla account. If you forget that, well, you're kind of screwed. Or if you have a Model 3, you go to Control, Settings, Service and Reset, and then Factory Reset. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. For more antics, check me out on Instagram at RichieBKid, or follow the Rich Rebuilds channel on Facebook, or my Tesla Buy Sell Parts trade group on Facebook as well, if you're looking for any parts for your Tesla. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.